Bulgaria had an immigration crisis.
18 people have been found dead. Police believe they were asylum seekers from Afghanistan being smuggled into Europe illegally.
Border police lock up new arrivals. The reason? The migrants crossed the border illegally.
The barracks at Hardline was designed for 430 people. There are 750 refugees currently held here.
Thousands are risking their lives to break into the EU, hoping to find safety. Since Syria's collapse and the Taliban's return in Afghanistan, the pressure on European borders has skyrocketed. But this time, one of the poorest EU members became the epicenter of chaos. Bulgaria, once bypassed, suddenly became ground zero. In just 1 year, things spiraled beyond control. Smugglers got violent, the state was overwhelmed, and the EU turned its back. Then, out of nowhere, Bulgaria did what no one expected. It cut illegal crossings by over 60%. How did they do it? And could this be Europe's ultimate playbook? Stick around to uncover the secret strategy that stunned Europe and silenced the critics. Fast. By 2022, Bulgaria found itself in the crosshairs of a new wave of migration. Conflicts in the Middle East, especially the Taliban's rise, triggered mass movement. Bulgaria's 259-kilometer border with Turkey became a pressure point, unlike 2015 when migrants largely avoided it. This time, they came in droves. Human rights groups reported nearly 88,000 people pushed back from the Turkish border, double the year before. Smugglers exploited Bulgaria's quiet terrain, guiding migrants through the rugged Sakar and Stranja mountains. In one tragic event, a bus packed with migrants crashed into police near Burgas, killing 2 officers. The situation was spiraling fast. Bulgaria knew it had to act, and fast. Years earlier, they had started building a barbed wire fence to block Syrian refugees, but now they expanded it dramatically. By 2017, a 200-kilometer steel barrier lined with razor wire and sensors sealed most of the border. Then came the 300-meter buffer zone, off-limits to civilians, pushing operations out of public sight. Critics compared it to Cold War tactics, arguing it violated rights and pushed migrants into dangerous paths. But Bulgaria pushed ahead. To the government, this wasn't just a fence. It was a lifeline, a way to retake control of the border and stop the flood. Fences weren't enough. In 2022, with crossings spiking again, Bulgaria deployed 350 soldiers and 40 military vehicles to support border patrols. Dense forests, once dominated by smugglers, were now filled with soldiers, night vision cameras, and thermal sensors. Surveillance was constant. Nothing crossed unseen. Then Europe stepped in. For the first time ever, Frontex, the EU's border agency, sent 240 officers to directly patrol Bulgaria's frontier, not just monitor checkpoints. This was a shift in how Europe responded. No longer advisory, but physically backing Bulgaria's strategy. The message was clear. This wasn't just Bulgaria's border anymore. It was Europe's front line. Then came the real game changer, Turkey. In late 2023, after months of back-channel negotiations, Turkey began actively patrolling its side of the border. From intercepting migrants to dismantling camps, Turkish cooperation meant fewer crossings before they even reached Bulgarian soil. It wasn't a formal treaty, but it was enough to make Turkey the first layer of Bulgarian defense. Intelligence was shared, patrols doubled, and the entire border turned into a coordinated no-go zone. Bulgaria's border, once porous and vulnerable, became a multinational firewall. But border control wasn't the only strategy at play. The second part of Bulgaria's strategy was psychological. Make entering Bulgaria so unpleasant, no one would want to try. Pushbacks became routine. If you crossed illegally, you were sent straight back. No asylum process, no court, just expulsion. Over 5,200 of these incidents were recorded in 2022 alone. For those who did make it in, asylum was a dead end. Bulgaria fast-tracked rejections for migrants from so-called safe countries, denying 99% of cases, even from conflict zones like Syria. If you were one of the 1% who got protection, you were abandoned. No housing, no support, no future. But Bulgaria didn't just target the migrants. They went after the networks helping them. In early 2023, a single police operation led to 92 arrests tied to smuggling. The government made it a national mission to destroy human trafficking at its roots. President Radev celebrated the raids as a national security win. As crossings fell and smugglers disappeared, Bulgaria's message became impossible to miss. Don't come here. You won't make it in, and if you do, we'll make sure you leave. And the numbers proved it was working. By the end of 2024, irregular entries dropped by 70%. From nearly 180,000 attempted crossings in 2023, the number fell to just over 52,000 in 2024. In early 2025, some days recorded 0 crossings. Smugglers gave up, fences held strong, and with Turkey's help, the stream of migrants became a trickle. Pushbacks surged, matching 2% of the national population. At the same time, nearly half of asylum seekers vanished before completing the process, confirming that Bulgaria wasn't a destination. It was a dead end. Meanwhile, over 1 million Ukrainians were accepted with open arms, while Middle Eastern migrants were shut out. Inside Bulgaria, public support for the crackdown was strong. Years of fear, fueled by media portraying migrants as criminals, set the stage. When police died during migrant incidents, public opinion hardened. Politicians of all stripes rushed to back the toughest policies. Human rights abuses were ignored. Vigilante migrant hunters were tolerated, and national pride replaced compassion. The media ran stories of drug busts and deportations, shaping the narrative around security and heroism. As other EU nations blocked Bulgaria's entry into the Schengen zone, Bulgarians dug in deeper. They believed they were protecting Europe, even if Europe wasn't ready to admit it. But Bulgaria wasn't alone. Hungary sealed its borders in 2015, Greece followed with surveillance towers, and Poland built a steel wall. In every case, hardline strategies reduced crossings by over 90%. Bulgaria's geography, just one land border, made it easier to control. Unlike Germany or Italy, it didn't have to deal with sea routes or internal Schengen rules. Even Austria, initially critical, began supporting Bulgaria's methods to stop migrants before they reached Austrian soil. The message was spreading. Europe wasn't just watching Bulgaria, it was learning from it. But with success came a darker truth. Allegations of abuse surfaced. Asylum laws were ignored. At least 93 migrants died in 2022-2023 from suffocation, freezing, or violence. While some praised the crackdown, others saw a nation turning its back on human rights. Bulgaria's strategy may have worked, but it came with a cost many democracies might not be willing to pay. And while one country sealed its borders, the problem simply moved elsewhere. Migrants now shift toward Romania, Greece, or remain trapped in Turkey. Bulgaria stopped the flow, yes, but migration itself? That's a crisis no wall can fully contain.